Hi there and welcome. These are your handover videos for your Coachman VIP 560. These are a basic walkthrough on how to set up and operate the van as if you were coming on or off site. So, starting off first, we have your black hitch head here and black lever that you have to have pulled up like so to then allow you to wind the jockey wheel onto the tow ball, causing that to snap down, pressing up that red button and exposing a green ring. You have your breakaway cable just here. Now the legality states if you have an eye point, it has to be used. If not, wrap it around the tow bar. Jockey wheel is just here, used to level the caravan. You've got this little handle on the side to loosen up the jockey wheel so you can pull it up into the A-frame whilst travelling. You also have your handbrake here to disengage, just pull down like so. And to engage, literally all you need is 2 fingers to flick it up. As you see, they can come up with a fair bit of force, so make sure your head isn't in the way. 2 points either side and 2 points at the back. We have inserts for your legs. Now the caravan itself comes with a leg winder, or alternatively you can get yourself a 19mm drill bit and a power drill just to make it that bit quicker. Do not attempt to jack up or level the caravan using your legs. They're simply used for stabilisation. Today we are using our test equipment, so I have a red propane gas bottle. I'd always recommend propane over butane just because it will have a better performance over winter. Connected onto this bottle, I have a black gas hose. Now black gas hoses will run for 5 years, orange will run for 10. That connects onto this regulator just here, as you can see. Now what you want to do is hand tighten that as much as you physically can and then just nip it up using a spanner. You don't want it ridiculously tight as it puts excess pressure on the O-ring that is inside the hose, causing it to crack and gas leaking out. So all you want is a little bit of a nip up, maybe like a half or quarter turn. Along this side, starting off, we have your flue. Your flue is used to get clean air in and out of your boiler when operating on gas. Don't have to do anything with this except making sure it's nice, clean and tidy. I then have an acroll full of clean drinking water just here, and then your water pump. Now I would never recommend to drink the water out of the taps. However, to remove this, press in on the trigger and it will pull itself out. You have this pump cover on the top, and then at the bottom we have your strainer. Now it is crucial that the strainer sits at the bottom of the barrel. I'm not going to remove it right now because the pump is actually on. However, it's crucial that it sits at the bottom of the barrel. The actual pump itself does have a bit of a tendency to curl up as such. So my recommendation is to get some PVC tubing or something similar so the pump is always straight. Next to this we have your battery locker. So this example doesn't have a battery fitted, but that's where it would sit. And connecting the terminals on, you'd either need a 12 or 13mm spanner. Connecting up, we have your mains lead just here, which slots in nice and easy, and you have a little cutout for it to sit through so you can lock it up. You also have the point for the motor mover behind there. Motor mover will be gone over on collection. Then we have 2 points where your wastewater is going to come out of. You'll need some 28.5mm waste pipe to then feed into a waste master that you can empty out at the appropriate point on the site. And lastly, we have your toilet function. So first up, we've got your cassette. Now to remove this, press up on the orange handle and pull out towards you. Now this handle does also extend out and up, so it can be used similar to a carry-on suitcase. What you want to do is twist this head to the side, open up this cap, then at the appropriate point you want to tilt, and at the same time as tilting, continually pressing your vent button. Now as you can see, I've fed in some fresh water by opening up this compartment, putting it in, give it a bit of a shake, and again tilting and venting. The reason why I do this is so that it smells a bit nicer and fresher. Then on this cap here you have measurements in both imperial and metric, and that's for your blue chemical. Blue chemical goes into there, twist the cap back on, press the handle in, press it in so the orange handle sits behind those white teeth. Above that we have your flush tank. Now this has a capacity to fit around 12 litres of water. However, I wouldn't recommend putting in any more than 10 as you don't want to overfill the compartment. You can also add some pink chemical which works as a bleach without being corrosive and makes it smell nicer. Now you don't want to travel with either of these too full, so just up here you've got a little bung to drain off any remaining water from the system. The caravan itself will be fully drained off when you collect it. Then underneath your right hand side seat you have all of this here, so I wouldn't recommend storing anything under here. This silver box is your boiler just here, which you can pull back that panel if you ever need to do a reset. And just along this side here you can see you have one yellow drain valve there and then another just there. So facing in the upright position as they are now, that is in drain mode, and it is also how you will collect the caravan. Now when you are coming off site you want to flick them off. Anytime like you're away from the caravan and you're not going to be using it for a certain time, flick them up. November to March, have that up permanently unless you're actively using the caravan. So pretty much you're wanting to have them up when you're not using it and when it's cold. So November to March, and also when you're traveling you want to have them up as well because you don't want water sloshing around the system. However, when it's time to use the water, flick them both down. They can be down either to the left or to the right and it will allow the water to come through. However, you are collecting them in the upright position. This blue box just here is your brain box for your motor mover, which you can pull back that panel if you never need to do a reset. You have this box here, which is your again brain box for your alarm system, which is also the motion tilt sensor. You have your solar panel regulator on the side, and then just down here you've got all of your trips and fuses. Now I'd always recommend carrying some extra fuses across the caravan. However, all your trips are in the upright position and all your fuses in the correct position there as well. Then here we have your main control panel. So you have your master on and off button just here to turn on the entire system. You can then cycle through your settings using these buttons just here. So pressing in on enter on user settings, you have a couple of different options just here. I'm not going to go through these as we've set that to what we believe the most user friendly. However, it is to do with the firmware, telling you the amount on the leisure battery and just a couple of notifications. Internal temperature is 5 degrees. Now that temperature may differ to your outer panel. Leisure battery voltage is 13.7. However, I am plugged into mains, so that is going to show the amount from there. Continuing through, and then we're just back to the time. We then have lights inside the van, and then you just have to use your representative switches. Awning light is on. Go outside and you can see that's on just there. And the last bit we have is the pump button. Now, as I'm not currently plugged in and I've got my drain valves open, I'm not going to press that. However, it would display showing pump is on. What you would then want to do is wait about 2 minutes for the water to draw through into the boiler itself, and then come over to your taps and open up for around 30 seconds. What you're after is a nice steady continuous stream. Any coughs or splutters, just continue to open it up, but if it persists, check your drain valves, check your pump, check that you've got plenty of water and that the strain is at the bottom of the barrel. So super simple to use: master, pump, lights and awning. Then here we have your outer control panel. As you can see here, you have mains plugged into the caravan and the internal temperature on this one is 12.5 degrees. As I've said, they will differ, but just go off the outer panel. Pressing in on menu, you come to this screen here. Now, the first row is for the internal temperature of the caravan that you desire. You can either individually tap to go up, or you can press and hold as well. So you've got the choice of either tapping or pressing and holding to go down, and then they do go down in 0.5s. Next up, we have the shower icon, and this is for your water temperature. So water temperature is currently off. Put it halfway and that will get the water temperature to around about 40 or 50 degrees. and then we have it on full. Now what full does, it prioritizes heating the water over heating the actual caravan for around about 30 minutes. After those 30 minutes are up, it will then drop itself back down to midway. So get water up to temperature and then drop it down. Then we have your energy source, so we can either use 1, 2 or 3 kilowatts of electric. Now do be aware that some sites do not have 3 kilowatt capacity. Or, there we go, we can use gas or a mixture of gas and 1, 2 or 3 kilowatts. Then we have additional settings on this cog here. I'm not going to run through these as we have set this to what we believe are most user friendly to use. However, if you'd like to have a look inside your book packs to see what they represent, please do so. Naturally, this screen will fade off when not interacted with in a little bit of time. However, when you don't want the heating on at all, press in, turns itself off. As you can see, nice, clean, steady, continuous stream. That's what you're after. I'm currently on hot, so you can see a bit of steam is coming off there. But what you're after is this nice, steady stream. You can check that on both hot and cold, and that is pretty much what you're after. Now, if there's any airlocks in the system, pretty much just open this up. It will have a couple of coughs and splutters to start off, and then you'll get to this nice, steady, continuous stream. Now, if you're also using your other taps, pull through from them first, as they are further away. But this is just what you're after, nice, steady and continuous. And after you've done this, you want to pretty much just use it regularly, and then once you've finished using the water, come back over to your panel, press pump to turn off the pump and open up your drain valves. Just here we have your hob grill and oven, so all of this operates on gas minus the electric plate. For that, spin to whatever mark and it will get to temperature. It will show you a red light on the side to show you that it's heating up. Everything else, you've got to press in on the dial, twist it to the side and press in your igniter button. Now it may be a case that these will pretty much shoot up and then cut out, or they may take a while to actually ignite when you first come to use it. That is natural, that is the gas making its way through the system. This is what it looks like when they're all lit. As you can see, nice blue, clean, continuous flames. Turn that back to the central position. Then it's the same concept of the grill, so let's see if we can do that with one hand. And as you can see, both sides nice and lit. And then lastly, your oven. Now make sure as well that these trays are not intruding on the igniter, as it can put itself out there. And there you go, all nice and lit up. There we go, all nice and lit, just there. Now the only other real thing to note is that you want to travel with this glass sheet down, but don't put it down until all of these are nice and cold. And if you're traveling with gas bottles, make sure the bottle itself is turned off. Then just here we have your fridge operation. So fridge is currently on, which can be identified from that little light there. I can press it and it will give me a flash of what is currently active. So we have the sources on this side and the power on this side. For the power, you can press in and it goes 1 to 5. 5 being the most powerful, so it's going to chill it the quickest. However, even on full capacity, it is going to take around 4 hours to fully chill. Then we have your sources on this side, so I'm currently on mains. Press it once, it's going to go to that battery symbol and it's going to come up with a hazard. The reason it comes up with a hazard is because that battery symbol is only representative of 13-pin electric whilst towing. So it's just going to come up with a hazard, but as you can see, it flashes up at you to let you know. Then I'm currently set on gas. Now for gas, I'd recommend running through your hob grill and oven first to make sure it's all nice and lit, and then pulling through on the gas here. All you have to do is select that icon and it will get it so it's all lit. Then the last one is that A. Now that is representative of automatic, where it will automatically choose what the best source for the fridge to use is, and in this case it's mains. Now as mentioned, it will take 4 hours to fully chill, so you can either chill it the night before or just wait a little bit of time. Then when you don't want the fridge on, press and hold in on the power button, and then as you can see, no more on there. And then to turn it on, it's the exact same. Just here we have your toilet capacity. Opening up the lid, pressing in the button on the top, you can hear that motor. That motor is what will push through any water inside the system. And then to remove your waste, press away on this handle, opens up the cassette. Make sure you do pull it back towards you to be able to shut up the cassette. And when it is full, there'll be a red light on there telling you to empty.